Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Man, it's been too long. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the first time we are going live in 2026. Before we all get that out of the way, my name is Ty Sika, and welcome to TTPW Ty Talks Pro Wrestling. We are on episode 6 here today. And before we get started, you guys may notice something behind me here that is a new part of the set. So just give me 1 second as I turn this guy on for us. Now I know it's super bright in here, so probably can't see it real well. So let me just turn off the lights for a second. Now that is a podcast feel, ladies and gentlemen. You got the headphones in the back there. Now I know my light's obviously messing with it, and you can't really tell too much, but that's what we're here for the podcast. We've done a lot of redecorating in the last 6-7 months since we did our last video, which was at the end of the year of 2025, when we went over the best moments of 2025 and whatnot. And yeah, it was super awesome. I enjoyed a lot about that video. And then we just took a major amount of time off. It's been a long time. Right here on my desk, I have a nice little I don't know what it's not a mannequin head, but like a nice little head over here, so my mask can sit on here. That's right by my desk, so that I'll always be here with the stream. Sometimes I'll pull it up on stream and whatnot. It's just gonna sit right here off camera though for now. But yeah, I hope everybody's been doing great. 2026 has been a busy year for me. Oh my gosh, I think I talked about it in the last episode that in 2025 I just got a huge internship opportunity at the end of the year. So that was a big deal. I wasn't expecting to get it. It was just something that really just came out of the sky, and I managed to get the opportunity to do it. And man, there's not a better feeling than getting something like that. The 2 years that I was in my audio and video communications degree was just like, I would have done for any opportunity to get any time on with like radio or TV or anything that involved my major, because that's the career I want to go into. I want to be an announcer. I want to be doing broadcasting, podcasting, stuff like this. Like, this is my passion. I love talking about stuff like wrestling back there, or as you see, I got tons of superhero stuff back there as well. I love talking about all that stuff. And it's just a big deal. It's a part of who I am, and it's been this thing that's been with me for forever, and it's not going away anytime soon, because I keep buying this stuff. I keep watching my superhero stuff and my wrestling. It's a big deal, and it's always going to be a part of me, man. Like, it's not just something that I do for views. This is something I'm passionate about. I mean, with my job, I want to go into the wrestling business. I want to be a broadcast announcer. I want to be an announcer. That stuff is what I would love to do, But let's get that out of the way. 2026 has been a crazy year for wrestling so far. Oh my gosh. And we're halfway through 2026. I always think how we're already halfway is that Avengers Doomsday is a major Marvel movie coming out, which I'm excited to see. It's come out in December, and we only have the rest of July, August, September, October, November, and then December. So we are like halfway there already, you guys. It's crazy. Crazy that we are already halfway through 2026. But without further ado, let's get into some big stories that happened throughout 2026 that I'll talk about, I'll cover. Start off with the month of January. Drew McIntyre beating Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. The reign of Cody Rhodes ended for the second time. John Cena beat him first at WrestleMania, and then he won it back at SummerSlam, and then he lost it to Drew. The retirement of Hiroshi Tanahashi, which I actually watched. I don't watch too many New Japan. You're not going to hear me talk about it much on the channel. I do watch some of it. I did watch that match because it was Hiroshi Tanahashi is one of the most famous New Japan wrestlers that have been talked about, and he had a retirement match against Okada. It's not my type of wrestling match. I don't really watch as much Japan wrestling as I did watch it during COVID a lot. I did watch it. I watched a lot of old New Japan, and I watched it a little bit when they came back, or not when they came back, and when I came back to watching like other wrestling in 2020, 2019, 2020. I was watching like every Ring of Honor. You know, I started watching AEW. I started watching New Japan. Like I was watching a lot more when COVID started. I just had more opportunities. The Royal Rumble happened in Saudi Arabia. You know, Saudi Arabia shows are mid. Sorry, but they're mid. You know, I don't know what it is with Saudi Arabia and their shows, but they don't really book them too well. The Royal Rumble winners Liv Morgan, Roman Reigns, and the retirement of AJ Styles as he faced Gunther. Great match. You know, I didn't want to see AJ retire, but, you know, AJ, I think, run over to retire. Great match. Great way to end his career, honestly. And, yeah, I think that's, like, the biggest thing for so far. I don't remember if Ciampa left around this point. I think it was a little bit later on that Ciampa left. But Ciampa was with WWE. I actually saw him. He came to a show that was near me. I saw his last match against Ilya Dragunov. Sorry, almost said Tommaso Ciampa versus Tommaso Ciampa. Versus Ilya Dragunov for the U.S. title. Great match. Great way for Ciampa to go out. And then he left. He went to AEW. He's a huge star now. We'll be talking more about him in a couple minutes because he's been making headlines in 2026. Month of February. You saw his mask earlier. Cerro del Miedo, Penta wins the Intercontinental title off Dominic Mysterio. Happy boy that day. I love my luchadors. Love them, love them, love them. I love watching AAA. I love guys like Penta and Rey Fenix and Rey Mysterio and Axiom getting time on television and all that stuff. That's really cool. You know, I love AAA. That's Mexican wrestling is one of my favorite things. Lucha Underground was one awesome thing that I was watching like all the time. So Penta winning the IC title, Elimination Chamber, AJ Lee winning her title from Becky Lynch, Punk and Balor going on some great matches. The Elimination Chamber matches were good, you know, not the best, but you know, Rhea and Randy winning is pretty cool, honestly. You know, Randy Orton just a veteran of the game. And, you know, obviously him winning, which meaning he's going to WrestleMania, which that's pretty cool. Tommaso Ciampa, we're going to talk about him again. He left, went to AEW. He immediately put himself as he's going to be a huge threat. He wins the TNT title off of Kyle Fletcher, I think it was. But man, Ciampa, let me just say, we're going to be talking about him a lot today in the video because he has just been one guy who WWE, he was used, but he wasn't used to his full potential. He was stuck in a DIY thing, which obviously I love DIY, but at the same time, Johnny is a powerhouse on his own, and Ciampa is a powerhouse on his own. They should have been really put off for a little while because, you know, Ciampa showed that in AEW that he clearly has the skills to be a world champion, in my opinion. And we'll talk about, you know, more on Ciampa later on. Then we had to March. So that was like the build to WrestleMania. You know, we'll get towards that later on. And then, so obviously Ciampa wins the TNT title. You know, he's putting these great matches and stuff. I think MJF won his title at World's End. So MJF was defending the title, which I actually quite like that MJF was defending the title more. And stuff. You know, he really didn't do that his first reign. The second reign, he was defending the title a lot. And I really appreciate that he did that. You know, also, I forgot to mention NXT, Joe Hendry, NXT champion. You know, Obafemi vacated his title. He got moved up to the main roster. He's immediately a huge threat. So Joe Hendry was NXT champion at the time. We were moving towards Stand and Deliver at this point as well. So there were a couple of shows that we were all moving towards at the same time and whatnot. So I really don't think there was too many big things in March. I really don't, except that Drew lost the title back to Cody, which is like, okay, we gotta put the title on QB1 to go into WrestleMania. I get it. And everything that went down with Pat McAfee, I'm not even gonna talk about that on stream. I wasn't a fan of it. I don't know why TKO did that or why they made that part of the storyline, but it sucked, So now we're on the road to, we are at April, actually. We're at WrestleMania season. Got Stand and Deliver. I'm going to tell you, NXT Stand and Deliver was a way better show than WrestleMania. I think night one of WrestleMania was one of the worst booked shows I've watched ever. I think it was terrible. I think with the ads and how short the matches felt, it was awful. But there are some good things. I won't say it was all negative. I think Seth Rollins and Gunther had a great match. Excuse me. Those guys put on a great match. Those guys don't really put on many bad matches. Even I didn't think Gunther and Cena were going to have a good match. I think I said this actually at my year-end award video that I didn't think they were going to have a good match, but they actually had a phenomenal match and a great match to go for Cena to go out on. But the ending was predictable. I knew Braun Breaker was ready to come back, and he did cost Seth. And of course, the Paige came back, and which I'm a huge fan of Paige. If she's watching it, I love you. You're defending the title tonight. I don't think you're going to retain, so I'm sorry. I think Fatal Influence is going to win. I'm sorry, but I hope you go into the singles division. She could easily win and go into this interim ladder match on SmackDown. Spoilers for SmackDown if you didn't see it yet, but you have a shot to hopefully enter this interim women's ladder match, Paige, if you lose tonight. But I was going to go with Fatal Influence tonight because I think they've been booking Fatal Influence. Saturday night's main event's going on live right now on Peacock. I will watch it after this. But Paige coming back was awesome. Huge pop. I popped for it. I actually quite liked the match in general. I think, everybody got their moment to shine in the match. Paige and Charlotte have history. Nia Jax and Lash winning as champions. Bayley, Lyra, they got to shine. Bliss and Charlotte got to shine. I love their tag team partnership. I think I said this, maybe a year ago now when they were a team. Booking those two as a team was a very good idea because they were both kind of on the outs of where do you go with this after, Charlotte lost to Tiffany and, Bliss wasn't really doing anything since she came back. So those two have been a really great tag team and, they could get another reign down the line. But yeah, WrestleMania night one, pretty disappointed with it. The ending was horrible. I think Stand Deliver did an amazing job. The women's division in that is the best division. It still is today. I'm going to say that hands down. The NXT women's division is the best. I think they know Shawn Michaels knows what he's doing. There's been so many good matches. JC Jane, Lola, Vice, Kendall Gray, who is one of my favorite women's wrestlers today. And great match, Lola winning, and now we flash forward to 2026 or 2026 now, sorry. And Kendall Gray is NXT Women's Champion. So the continuation of who they're giving the title down to and, building up these new stars like Callie Armstrong and Nikki Martinez. No, it's not Nikki Martinez. But she just debuted in NXT. And we got so many new women's wrestlers probably coming up. I think it's Nikki Blackheart's her name I'm thinking of, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. A great main event, Tony D'Angelo winning the title in a fatal four-way, and then Joe, Ethan, Ricky all get sending up to the main roster. So that's pretty cool. Just building up of new stars of Nakaru, Tate Wilder, Cam Hendricks, even Miles Bourne is getting a huge opportunity to really get on TV. Tristan Angel, Shiloh Hill. There's a lot of guys who didn't really get a TV before, but now because all these guys got called up, they're getting a lot of time to shine. And even with Dark State, Shaquan Sugars, Dark State, they're getting more time on TV and stuff like that. But night two turned it around. I think night two was a very good show. At least the first hour, I was like, this is one of the best hours of wrestling the whole year. I think Oba Brock was an amazing thing. I'm not going to lie. I did not expect Brock to retire in that match. I thought he was going to have his last match at SummerSlam, which, you know, if you know, you know. And the ladder match was, I honestly think it might be one of my top 10 matches of the year so far. I think it was great. Penta, Ray, Dragon Lee, JD, Rusev, Devon Evans, 6 great guys who really wouldn't have had a spot on Mania unless they got into the ladder match. So that was really cool. Finn, Dominic was cool. Rhea and Jade. Jade's been having her best matches against Rhea. Of course, she lost the title to Rhea. And then the main event was great. Roman and Punk, probably another top 10 match of the year so far. Just a great, great match. Very, very good. Very, very good storylines to, go from WrestleMania, and now we're pivoting past that. And then Roman Reigns, he did win the title back. So it's okay. I didn't really think Roman should have won the title, but, I understand it. I don't know how many more years Roman Reigns has at being a wrestler, because I think he is really just thinking, he makes money doing all these movies and stuff. I don't think he's going to stick around, honestly, too many more years. And same with Seth Rollins. He's just up there. He wants to enjoy time with his family, as he should. So we're moving on to April into May now. This was around the time that I don't know if Darby had won the title at this point, but, it doesn't matter. We're all over the place now. So Darby ends up winning the AEW World title, which was really cool. It wasn't a good match how he won it, but the plan was just to get the title on Darby and stuff. I've been watching a lot of AEW. I think AEW has tremendously gotten better. I think there's some things that aren't the best that they still do. With the women's division still not really to my liking. That's not everybody's cup of tea, and it's okay. Some people like it. I don't, but what are you gonna do? So Darby went on to have great matches. Let's talk about him again. We're gonna be talking about him a lot in this video. Tommaso Ciampa, man, in AEW, he's a monster. Had another top 10 match of the month, or top 10 match of the year so far against Darby on TV. It might be my favorite television match of the year so far, because you put a guy who wasn't really on TV in WWE and you put him on AEW, and they have a great match. Darby Allin, by the way, who's the world champion, and Ciampa, who has been waiting to have an opportunity at a world title, and they tore the house down. A great match, and as Ciampa's still wrestling these high-profile matches, he's been wrestling Jericho, he wrestled Briscoe, he's just been doing some great stuff, and I honestly think we're going to be seeing Tommaso Ciampa as a, possible world champion someday in AEW, just because of the type of matches he keeps getting and the type of performances he keeps giving on these shows. I think there's going to be a lot of fans that are like, let's give, we want to see Ciampa as champ. AEW's like, let's put the belt on Ciampa for a little while. Kevin Knight also wins the TNT title. Kyle Fletcher, unfortunately, did get injured after he won the title back from Ciampa. There was a match, a Casino Gauntlet match, where Kevin Knight ended up winning the title. I think Kevin Knight's another phenomenal talent, like Kyle Fletcher. I think those guys are just young. They're very, very good. They have a lot of different skills, and their move set is different than a lot of the guys in AEW. I think Kevin Knight did great in the Continental Classic. That's where I really started to notice that, like, wow, Kevin Knight is a real potential star on their hands. We should put the belt on him, and they ended up putting the TNT title belt on him, and he still holds it to this day today. But he's unfortunately a heel now. He turned on Darby later down when Darby faced MJF at Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing might be the best AEW pay-per-view that I've seen. I mean, all out 2021 still up there, but man, this was a great show, from Cope and Cage versus the FTR, the tag champs in a street fight. great way to start the show. You had some of your Owen Hart matches too. You had Swerve and Bandito, which I think Bandito is one of my favorite wrestlers of 2025 going into 2026 on the AEW. Swerve looks like a powerhouse. You had Ospreay and Joe. Ospreay just came back at around this point, and I knew he was gonna win. Spoiler alert, he does. He wins the whole tournament. He and Swerve had a phenomenal match at Forbidden Door. I think it was like about a month ago. No, maybe it was this month. I think it was this month in July. Had a great match, and now he's set to fight a great champion, but we're not going to spoil that part. We're going to talk about it later as we keep going on with Double or Nothing. And then we had Takeshita versus Okada, which Okada has been the champion for, I want to say two years now. I think Okada was champ. But he and Takeshita finally got to have their blow-off match. Was phenomenal. Might also be in my top 10 of the year so far. Phenomenal match, and you give Takeshita that crowning moment. It was just really cool. But all in all, Double or Nothing was a great show. Very good show. And then at the end of the show, Darby and MJF had their rematch. And Darby Allin did lose to MJF. Kevin Knight did betray him. He turned on him, and he joined the Don Callis family as a TNT champion. So pretty cool stuff. Now where we are at in AEW, we're going back to Beach Break. Ciampa and Jericho have been having their matches. Yeah, I think he's beaten Jericho once now, but they're having a second match at Redemption in about 2 weeks, I think. So that's cool. And then we had two big title changes as well, as Kyle Fletcher did take the title off Takeshita, and the Best Bout Machine, Kenny Omega, defeated MJF. So as of right now in Wembley Stadium, we have Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the AEW World Title, which is a great match, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing. And right now, Kyle Fletcher is the international champion, and he will be defending his title against Bandito Redemption, and Omega will be defending his title against Kevin Knight. So a lot of great matches for Redemption to look forward to, as Jericho and Ciampa will have their second match, and but this time there's a little bit of a twist. Chris Jericho will be bringing his alter ego, the Painmaker. So very, very cool matches. I'm quite excited for AEW Redemption because there's a lot of matches that I actually kind of want to see. I kind of want to see how Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight are going to match up. I think Kyle Fletcher and Bandito is like you're putting two of my favorite guys in the same match. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And Painmaker and Ciampa, their first match was actually quite good. I liked it. So I'm looking to see how they take it up a notch in this next match. So let's think about what else we've been doing. Let's continue with WWE Night of Champions, man. It's a big night. Big night. Every match was, Oba Femi winning the King of the Ring. We had Io Sky ring the Queen of the Ring. And she picked Liv Morgan for SummerSlam. And then Trick beats Ricky. And Seth beats Braun Breaker in another great match. Another possible top 10 of the year so far. So, and then in the main event, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Gunther, triple threat match. Sami Zayn wins the WWE title. Unfortunately, it didn't last too long, but it was cool to see Sami Zayn get his moment. He unfortunately did lose it to returning CM Punk. Unfortunately, it only lasted 9 days, I think we all knew it was coming. Sami Zayn is a great talent. I don't know. They don't see him as a high caliber star like Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. He's not on that level. And it stinks because he is that guy, because the fans resonate with him. Anybody that the fans put a lot of interest to could be a top star, I feel like, because the fans will tune in to see this guy as champion and whatnot. At the end of the day, I feel like people would have tuned in if Sami Zayn was champion, but now that CM Punk is champion, they will be tuning in because Punk is champion as well. Penta, I think, is the longest reigning champion at WWE in 2026 because I know Paige and Brie. As of right now, I haven't seen the Saturday Night's main event. They may no longer be the champions because I think they had a match with I know they had a match with Fatal Influence. I don't know if it's done. The whole show's done yet. If it even happened yet. I don't know what time it started. I think it started at 8:00, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think Penta and then we're tied for the longest. No, Penta actually has it by far. Penta was before. So Penta is by far the longest reigning champion so far of 2026. He is set with a match for Chad Gable, which is going to be another great match. Something I did forget to talk about in 2026, the absolute amazing mask versus mask match. El Grande versus El Grande Americano versus the original El Grande Americano was easily it. I mean, it could be the best match of 2026 so far, but it's definitely in my top 10. What an amazing match! Triple H has been really doing a lot of good stuff. The show was great though. Ray Phoenix and Laredo Kid was another great match. Like Ray Phoenix has not been doing anything in the main roster. He is a phenomenal talent, and for him to be given an opportunity on AAA is what he should have been getting on WWE, But he's a great wrestler, and to see him put on a match like that against the Laredo Kid and end up winning the title is a great moment. And now he's a champion, as is Penta already. It was of course unmasked that the original Grande Americano was Chad Gable. Who would have knew? But a great match. It really has raised the stock for Chad Gable. It really has raised the stock for the El Grande Americano. So they're both going to do great stuff down the line. Chad could win. It's tough because I like Penta, but I also think Chad deserves it because he's been busting his butt for the last year and a half doing that role. And I think he's been doing great. It's kind of fitting that, Penta's first match was against Chad Gable, and now Chad Gable may have a career resurgence as winning the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam by beating Penta. So 2026 has been a great year so far for pro wrestling. I think the G1 Climax is going on right now. I think I saw that in New Japan. We are approaching SummerSlam. SummerSlam is 2 weeks away today, so that's pretty cool. I'll let you guys know what the card is so far. We got Brock and Oba 3. They are tied 1-1. We're going to find out who will win this trilogy when Oba and Brock step into Hell in a Cell. We've got, as of right now, Cody and Punk. Great dream match. I thought it was going to happen at Mania, but we're going to get it earlier, so really cool. Liv and Io, another great match. Very excited to see that match. We already saw it at Mad Champions, but we're going to see it again for the world title. So pretty cool. Penta and Chad, like I've said before. And just as of last night, I did mention it earlier in the stream, Rhea Ripley, who is the current women's champion, unfortunately has suffered a torn meniscus, and her timetable of returning is unfortunately unknown. And they are crowning a interim women's champion at SummerSlam in a 5-way ladder match. Love some ladders, so I'm like, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get some ladders at SummerSlam. The last year's match at the ladder match was phenomenal with the tag teams. Fraxi and Motor City Machine Guns, Andrade and Ray Phoenix. The Wyatts, DIY. I think there's one more team and the Street Profits. But yeah, those 6 teams had a great match. As of right now, Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, who is the Women's United States Champion, have both qualified. Next week, we have Charlotte or Nia Jax joining the field as well. If Paige loses tonight, I'd like to see Paige have a shot. We'll see how that happens. I don't know if he's officially a part of SmackDown or not. But, I'm scratching my head to think of who else would really fit the roster. I mean, Lash Legend's another potential really big star that could really put a lot of, this is a newer star, put her on that pedestal and whatnot. Very exciting things for down the road. And I hope Rhea recovers, takes her time to recover and comes back whenever she's ready. So I hope she's doing okay. But yeah, very good card so far. I feel like we'll be getting a United States title match as well. with Trick, maybe Mello, maybe Corbin, maybe a fatal four-way between Trick, Mello, Corbin, and Saints, potentially. It doesn't look like we're getting a tag team title match, unfortunately, this year, which, has been the running theme, is that no tag team title matches have been on the PLEs, which stinks because I'm a huge supporter of tag team wrestling. I love tag team wrestling. I mean, look at who's behind me. I'm a tag team wrestling guy. I love the Hardys. I love those guys. Those guys are my favorite tag team of all time. I will always love them for what they do. I watch TNA just specifically for them. So, that's a big part of watching TNA. But there's a lot of exciting stuff coming in the future. I feel like I would love them to go back to WWE too. Fake the Trip Boys. So, very exciting stuff is coming. I can tell. I feel like WWE has to get back a little bit. I feel like they're making a little bit of poor mistakes on their part. I feel like the advertising is killing the match quality. I don't think that's working out for them. I really think they should be focusing on match quality and giving them enough time. I think that's what made night one of WrestleMania so horrible, because I think that just they were worried about pushing these ads and getting all this money. You guys are $1 billion company. I even forgot to mention there were a lot of releases this year. I was working at my internship, and I got the notification that WWE released so many wrestlers, like the Motor City Machine Guns, the Wyatts, Alba Fire, some NXT talent, Kairi Sane, which shocked me, Aleister Black, Selena Vega, those that stinks. You're $1 billion company and you're releasing wrestlers who, you should be taking care of. Just as of recent, Sheamus's contract expired. The New Day's contract, their contracts expired, which was Kofi and Woods. I don't know if their contracts expired, but JC Mateo, who is formerly known as Jeff Cobb in New Japan, and Tonga Loa, which, unfortunately his contract expired too. But they've been letting a lot of people go. They've been hiring new people and stuff like that, but they also don't use everybody they've got. The biggest one is Jordan Grace. She has not been used at all in the last couple of I feel like months, and that stinks. I really don't see Ilya Dragunov anywhere either. Like they said, he should be coming back, but he's not on my TV screen. So, that also stinks. And they're doing some good stuff. There's some stuff that are but the tag team division is another thing that I think they released a lot of good teams. The other tag team division on both rosters, even on all three rosters, I'd say, need a lift. A very much a facelift. On SmackDown, your tag champions are R-Truth and Damian Priest. As alone, they're good, not as a tag team. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. The MFT just broke up. That's another team that you don't have. You have Fraxium. You have War Raiders. You have Los Garza. That is probably it on SmackDown. On the Raw side, it's not much better. You have the Vision, who are the current tag champs. Yeah, you have the Street Profits. You have LWO. You have whatever American Made is. They haven't been on TV in forever. You have Alpha Academy. There's not too much with that division. And even on NXT, the Vanity Project, which is a great team, but there's not many good teams on there. You have Dark State. You have Birthright. You have Hank and Tank. You probably have Shawn Legacy and Doran Van Duke. You have Noam Dar and I think it's Rocky Romero. No, Rocky Romero is in AW. I know his name is Romero. I just can't think of his first name. I'm sorry. But yeah, you have a bunch of those teams on there. It still could use a little bit of a lift. You need to add a team there and whatnot. So I feel like the tag team division in general needs a little bit of a lift. Because at the end of the day, tag team wrestling is just something that is just special to me. I wish it would take more of a forefront. I miss seeing tag team titles defended on pay-per-views. It's been a long time since we've gotten it. We need to start seeing it again. So, that's one thing I would really request that we be let's put this back together. Let's do this. Let's make it right by the fans. The women's tag team division is great, just not the men's division. The women's tag team division's been the best it's ever been because there's just a bunch of different teams fighting for it. Like, you have the Judgment Day, you had Bayley and Valkyrie, you have Charlotte and Alexa, you have B-Fab's group, you have Fatal Influence, you have Paige and Brie, which might transition to the Bellas at some point, just being a tag team. But yeah, you had Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. You have teams that work. There just needs to be more put of an influence on the men. The women's is great. They're doing good by that. That always felt like a bad decision to create women's tag titles because they never had enough good teams. But now that they do, now that's starting to cook, they need to be like, well, we need this formula for the men's teams as well. But yeah, 2026 has been a very good year for professional wrestling, I think. There's just a lot of things that I would personally change for both shows. I feel like AEW needs to change their women's division a little bit, just, add a little bit more to it. And then just WWE, I feel like their men's division, their tag team division needs a lot of a facelift. And, just less ads maybe. Less ads, guys. I like to see my matches. I like to sit down for 30 minutes and watch a match and really enjoy it. That's always been me. Yeah, SummerSlam 2 weeks away. We got AEW Redemption coming up on the way, too. We got Wembley Stadium coming up. We got some big shows on the way. And I am all for it, you guys. I'm all for it. Very much all for it. Also, in other news, TNA, Nick Nemeth is the champion again. He beat Mike Santana, who Mike Santana his contract is expiring as well. That's another thing, too. Let's talk about this, too. TNA has been letting go of a lot of their guys or not using them as well. Eric Young just left. Tommy Dreamer just left. Steve Macklin, I think, was released with some female wrestler who I don't remember the name off the top of my head. Sinner and Saint were just released. Their division really needs a facelift too. There's not many teams in that division. There's not many guys that they're losing a lot of guys they need to keep. And they really should be trying to keep guys like Eric Young and Steve Macklin. And it looks like Mike Santana just left too. So it looks like his contract has expired and it looks like he's not staying with TNA. So you need to really find some people who are going to want to go there. I thought New Day might have a shot of going to TNA, but I think, more or less they're going to go to AEW where the big money is at and face teams like the Young Bucks, face teams like Cage and Cope, face teams like FTR when they come back. So I think the New Day are going to do great. I think Machine Guns also have that option where they could face teams like that in AEW. So I really feel like they could do that, or they could go back to TNA. I don't really think they want to. They left TNA to go to WWE, and look where that went out for them. So, yeah, we shall see how that goes. But yeah, I think 2026, we still have half the year to go. I think SummerSlam is going to be a make or break for WWE a little bit to be like, let's see where we can do. If they make the same mistakes for Mania, that's going to stink because they should be like, okay, Mania wasn't good because of why. I wouldn't say make or break is not a good way to say it, but I would say is a way to know what you did wrong before. I think this is a great way to learn from your mistakes. It's give matches the time they need to and don't worry about ads as much. You guys are a $1 billion company. You guys have that money for ads. Don't worry. There doesn't need to be 40 ads before after a match, before the next match comes on, and it cuts into the time for the next match. That doesn't need to happen, simply put. Tonight's on Saturday night's main event. There's 4 matches going on. I think it may be ended by now, but it's very possible that it's still going on. You had Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley. You had Danhausen versus JD in a no disqualification match. You had Fatal Influence taking on Brie Bella and Paige for the women's tag titles. And your main event, CM Punk and his challenger for SummerSlam, as of right now, Cody Rhodes, versus Gunther and Sami Zayn. And if Gunther and Sami win the match tonight, they are added to the SummerSlam match, making it a fatal 4-way, which I am all down for because these 4 have all been going for the same thing for a little while. And personally, I think it's time for Gunther to get his justice. Even though I think he's going to face Nick Aldis at SummerSlam, I think Gunther should be WWE champion. I think SmackDown needs that heel champion on their brand so they can have faces just, light up the screen. And, I feel like Gunther needs another world title reign, but I would like to see who he could face to make himself look more like more evil, because he's a bad guy. He's retired AJ Styles and John Cena. He's retired two of the GOATs. So having guys like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of who would be a really good opponent for Gunther. Maybe Carmelo Hayes is a guy you just put in there, or maybe Trick if he loses the belt at some point, or you could do a lot of there are a lot of opportunities on SmackDown that you could really put Gunther in there and just be like, whoa, this is like we want him to be Gunther for the title. Obviously it won't happen, but you're lining them up, you're giving Gunther some challengers and stuff, and you're honestly just creating good TV at the same time. But yeah, I think we can do a lot of good in 2026 for both AEW and WWE, TNA as well. I feel like you just need to get more. I really don't know. Tommy Dreamer, I think, was their talent relations guy, and I feel like he did pretty good, but I think they're changing that a little bit. So I really think they just need to get some good talent, hire them, put them on the show. They do have a pretty good roster, but I think they could always gain a few people and whatnot, and that would just elevate their roster just a little bit. But yeah, 2026. We still got we still got a few good months. We still got a few good months for them to put more stuff and more storylines and really engage really get the fans talking and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, this is the type of video. This is the point of the video now where we're going to go more into what has been personally going on and how 2026 has been going for me so far. So I did say 2026, I did get the internship at a radio station. It was an awesome opportunity. I can't thank them enough that they're watching the video. Thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to work with you guys. I really appreciate it. And I graduated 2 months ago. It's really surreal that I did 4 years at a 2-year school and just switched my major from, I was in psych before, but I really didn't feel like that was my calling. And I switched it to what I actually wanted to do forever and just do AV communications. And I met this amazing bunch of people in there. And, I think about the times that I had there and whatnot. And I really did enjoy it. Made college more, I don't know I wouldn't say fun. That's kind of a weird term to say it, but I would just say it made college very enjoyable. I was ready to show up every day with the same attitude and the inhibition to want to do better and make great projects and, just do great assignments with my major and whatnot. So it was really cool to do with that, and to work with the juniors as well. That was something really fulfilling. In 2025 too, I mentioned I got to host, direct the Halloween Bash at my college, which they had done priorly before. They weren't interested in 2025, but I got to do that. So that was really cool as my last year that I got to do that with my friends. And that was really cool that we got to do that together. So I'm not going to lie, the last 2 weeks have been a little bit not my favorite, especially the last week or so has been pretty upsetting. There's just been a lot of stuff going on with personal issues and whatnot. So, just I am. It's not like I'm not going to get over it. I was bitter at the time. I think my mind has been cleared up a little bit more. And I feel like we can get onto a new road. I do enjoy talking with people. I do enjoy having friends. I do enjoy, getting out there and making the most of it and whatnot. I do love to do that stuff. That's been my personality. I've wanted that to be my personality for forever, but unfortunately, it only took COVID to happen and me to be in isolation for so long, and then actually bring it out when we came back from COVID in about 2021. And I've had that personality now since after COVID. But yeah, there's some things that aren't easy. And there's some things that do happen once in a while where I go back into that mindset and where I go back to how I acted before. And it stinks. You sometimes you're into a certain way of life and you go back to it once in a while. I don't know why, it just happens. But college was really important to me, and how it ended was not how I wanted it to end. It ended kind of poorly. The last week was awful. So that really did do a number to me. That's how my summer kind of started off. So that was really poor. And we've just been job hunting as of right now. Putting more time into my actual job too. And we're still talking to people there. We're still getting to learn connections there and whatnot. But just after college, there's some things that did change, and unfortunately, that's just the way of life. And we're not going to be bitter about it anymore, because at the end of the day, we are better than that. I know that I am better than that. I shouldn't be bitter. I'm not really an angry person. I don't really get frustrated with people. I kind of have tough skin. It's just, I really don't get too upset. But, if I'm pushed to my limit, then that's where the bitterness comes out. That's when I'm angry. That's just simply what happens when I'm just pushed to my limit. And unfortunately, that just has happened the last week or two, where I've just been pushed to my limit and I'm just not myself. So I feel like that's what happened. And I did post something like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago where I wanted to do a video, and that's how my mood felt 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was happy. I just got back from vacation and all that stuff. And I just ended up doing it because of time. And then when I actually wanted to come back and do the video, then all the stuff went down, and it's just like, well, and you don't feel like doing it anymore. You're frustrated. You're bitter. You don't want to go on and you put that on YouTube, because that's not what I want to do. I want you guys to see the real me. I want you guys to see me happy, smiling, talking about my passion, and not seeing me be sad or anything, because nobody's gonna want to tune into me being sad. Like, come on, I wouldn't even want to tune into that. Like, I don't do that. So, but things are changing for the better. I feel like every time something bad happens to you, you grow better because of it. There's a song lyric from Cody Rhodes' Kingdom theme song. Hard times breed better men, and they do. When you go through more hard times, you come out a better person than you did. And I feel like that's every time that something bad happens, I grow from it. I learn a lesson, and I become a better person because of it. And that is all I want to do. Is when these bad things happen, I don't want to fall and feel down about it and be depressed and like, oh, it can't get better. No, I always have hope that it can do better. I'm never going to be that way where it's just, oh, I'm ready to give up. For that day or two, I'm going to do that. But I got to have hope in myself, that I can do better and all that stuff. I got here so far. I've done so much with my major, with making friends, with doing this podcast, with so much in my life that I wouldn't have had the strength to do before. And I just have done that, and I've grown so much, and I just keep growing every day, I feel like. And of course, when these problems happen, you just got to get through them, simply put. So we are definitely growing for the better. I am super happy to be back, and I miss this. I don't know if I can speak for everybody, but I've missed doing this. I've missed talking to you guys about wrestling. I talk to my dad about it all the time. Like, we send each other Instagrams and messages about everything. So I talk to somebody about it, or if I talk to some other people about it and whatnot. So I do talk to people about it, but it's different than, just sitting here in front of a computer and doing it and talking to and reaching out to so many people than I would just texting one specific person. So I think that's what it is about this channel is I'm just reaching out to so many of you and, informing you guys on all this stuff that's been going on. But 2026 has had some really good matches. I think it's going to have many more matches, with Wembley, with Redemption, even some TV matches have been really surprising me with both companies. It's very possible that there are matches that will make you go, wow, this was really good. They can put on good matches and they can continue to do that on a daily basis. So, yeah. And let's talk about the future too. We got WrestleMania Saudi coming up in 2027. I don't know how that show's going to be. That's way farther in the future, but the Saudi shows are okay. I don't really think they're the best, but I hope that WWE doesn't really do too much changing of the plans and bringing all these old timers in. I feel like the thing is that they want The Rock, and I would hold off on that because there are certain storylines you really shouldn't put on pause. There are conclusions we want to see for WrestleMania. Personally, I'm going to say that I want to see Roman Reigns versus Oba Femi at WrestleMania. I don't think that's going to happen right now. And I don't want to see Roman versus The Rock. I want to see Roman versus Oba, and I want to see Oba defeat Roman and Roman pass the torch to Oba Femi. I think Oba Femi is there's been a rocket strapped to him, and I'm so happy that WWE has been doing that. They are doing a great job by Oba Femi. He is a star in the making. I said this. I didn't say this because I wasn't doing the channel at this point, but when he first debuted and I was watching with my dad, I go, Dad, that's a guy that's going to main event WrestleMania someday. I go, he's got the talent. He's got the moves. He can talk. He's good. He's the whole package. And look at what he's doing now. He's on the main roster. He's fighting Brock Lesnar. He's probably going to be Brock Lesnar's last opponent. And he's beaten a lot of great guys in such a short amount of time. He's gotten so many matchups. He's getting all that experience and all that stuff, and he's going to do these promos, and the crowd loves him. So Oba Femi is definitely a guy who is going to be he is already a star in the making, but he is definitely going to be a world champ for sure. So it's only a matter of time till we see the crowning of the ruler, Oba Femi. So. Yeah. I love this thing. This thing's going to be on. I mean, you can't really see it. It does look a little bit from my side when I'm looking at the computer, but I hope it's coming bright in for you guys. But it does look a little bit like you can't see it because it's too bright on the computer screen. But that's going to be something that we added. I mean, look at all these Funkos now. We do have some awesome Funkos that we've been added to the collection. And yeah, I mean, this is a part of the set now. This is probably going to be the set going forward. There's probably not going to be anything else I do add into it yet, but this is it. I've been working really hard to get back to this, and I've been missing doing this. I've been missing talking about wrestling and doing videos for everybody, because this was a passion to do this. This wasn't something I was like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get views and I'm going to make money off of it. No, this is not what I want to do it for. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not even doing it for the views. I'm just doing it because I like talking and putting my my sense about wrestling. And I don't really have too many negative things to say. Then once in a while I will say something negative, but I always provide a solution to how they can change it, because like everybody else, I'm just a fan who wants to see great wrestling. It's been a passion of mine. When I hopefully become a father someday, I hope to pass it down to my children and their children, and just pass it on so that every generation will love wrestling as much as I do, because my dad passed it down to me, and I'm a huge fan about it. That's what I want to go to work for. So it's pretty special in general. So yeah. But man, I'm so happy back in front of the screen and talking to you guys. It's something that I really do I really did miss, and it's been a long time. And I apologize for putting all the posts out saying, "Oh, I'll be returning," and then I end up don't returning. So I don't know how many guys are going to tune into this, but I do hope you guys tune in. I know it's been so long that you guys are probably like, yeah, let's move on from this guy. He's not talking. He's not doing as much. So how can we stay connected? But guys, I'm telling you guys, I'm back. I'm gonna be doing videos a lot more. I did just put in a new schedule for work, so more or less, hopefully that goes into effect sooner than later, so I can get more hours. Just because for the start of 2026, I changed my schedule to a very low amount because I was doing college, I was doing the internship, and because of those two things, were two big things that I really couldn't do. That I really wanted to put forth effort was college, and my job just took a backseat to that, unfortunately, because the internship was paid, so I was still getting money, and obviously I was in my last year of college, so I wanted to do a lot of stuff then, and work on projects, hang out, and just make a lot of everlasting memories there. And I feel like I did my job with that. So I'm not going anywhere else so far. So once September or August, September start back up, I'm not going anywhere back to school. At least not for this year. I'm gonna take a year. We're gonna do other stuff, work, apply, do this, focus on this. This is a big part. And if we're not really getting anywhere in a year, we'll look into other schools in a year. But I'm happy where I am right now. I'm really happy with the progress I've done. So I don't really want to go anywhere else so far. I've gotten that experience that I wanted, and that I really was like, if I go to a 4-year school, will you get as much experience as you did at the job? And I just thought to myself, I'm like, no. You're just sitting there learning. You're learning some new stuff, I'm guessing, but it's, nothing compares to on-site experience of learning. And I got to do so much with this internship, go out and meet so many so many awesome people, and learn a lot of stuff about doing on-site locations and doing live work and a lot of editing and stuff like that. And hey, not much AI. I only used a little bit, guys. So I'm not into AI, so I don't like using that stuff. But I did have to use it a little bit. But yeah, that stuff I never messed with before. I used ChatGPT only twice this year, and one was for the internship, just to do something really small, and then one was just for a little project. So other than that, I did everything my own self by just me. But yeah, I got to do a lot of fun stuff with this internship, and it was awesome why I did it. Am I going back? Maybe not. Maybe so. That's not my full thing as of right now. I'm not really too worried about it. I'd love to put more hours into my job that I've had for just 2 years now. I just had my 2-year anniversary earlier this month, so I've been 2 years at this job now, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, if we get any more opportunities, obviously you guys will be the first to know. So there's a lot of exciting stuff that's going to be happening this year, hopefully. Like, definitely more videos, for sure. But let's go over what my plan is, especially in August. August 3rd, my new schedule goes into effect, so that'll be Monday, and we'll see what happens if it goes into effect, or if there's certain stuff that doesn't work and whatnot. So we'll see how that works. It'll go into effect August 3rd, but after that point with August 3rd, Tuesdays and Thursdays will be my days to do content and whatnot. So very exciting. What's up, Jiggy? How we doing? Hope you're doing good, my brother. I'm happy you tuned in. I'm so happy you tuned in, and I appreciate it, really. But Yeah, definitely Tuesdays and Fridays in August will definitely be my days to do streaming. Tuesday, obviously, if we're doing Tuesdays, we're covering Monday Night Raw after it happens. And then Friday, obviously, we're just doing it, either it'll be later or early in the morning, so probably won't be going into SmackDown or whatnot. And then obviously, if I do have weekends off, we'll be going into SmackDown, obviously, after that. But as I do have these 2 weeks opened up, we're going to go over certain stuff going on in the next 2 weeks. And it's going to be quite exciting. I love talking about wrestling. There's still going to be a lot going on before my new schedule goes into effect. So let's hope we get more hours in. But obviously, if we don't, only you guys will be benefiting. You guys are going to benefit from it. I'll be doing more videos. I'll have more time to do this stuff. So I'm very excited to see what the future holds for the channel, because it's not going away. I know I've went away and taken my hiatus, and I've done maybe 2 or many videos or whatnot. You definitely put me onto WWE content. Yeah, you should definitely tune into it, man. I'm definitely down to, if you come over and we watch a show sometime, definitely down for that. I would love if you came over and watched one night of SummerSlam. I think that would be sick. I think we'd have a lot of fun doing that. I really think you'd love some of it. There's a lot of cool characters that are doing it right now. There's a lot of good talent. So I'll definitely text you about SummerSlam, because it's 2 weeks. So it's a 2-night event. So we don't need to do both nights, but maybe I can get you to come over Saturday or Sunday so we watch one night. Yeah, I'm down for whatever my free is. I'm down for whatever. I'm free. My schedule is a bit busy next week. Yeah, it's only 2 weeks. It's only the 1st and the 2nd of August. I'll be tuning into it. I'll be tuning into it for sure. I loved your last one. You definitely got a bright future for it. So, but yeah, August 1st, August 2nd. So hopefully you remember that. So, I'll be texting you the next week or 2 about it if you want to be down for watching a show. But yeah, a lot of exciting things are coming to the channel. Obviously, I've new setup, all new stuff on here. So very exciting to see what's going on with the channel. There's a lot always in the world of wrestling. Everything is changing. So, yeah, we'll definitely stream it. No, I mean, like, we don't have to stream it. I mean, you come over, we watch it, maybe I can have you on the phone when we're talking about it on the next live or whatever after that. But we don't have to stream us watching the show. I just like you to come over and so we watch it. Yeah. Oh, I also forgot to show my shirt today too. I'll put it on stream. We have a Jeff Hardy shirt today. I always do that, Jashawn. I wear a different shirt, wrestling shirt for every stream. So I'll get this on the shirt. So yeah, Jeff Hardy, one of my faves. He's all over the wall and whatnot. So that is our shirt for today. A Jeff Hardy shirt. This is a really old shirt, actually. I'm still surprised it fits, but it's really cool. Yeah, Jeff is one of my favorites. He and his brother are my top tag team of all time. Yeah, that's if I ever went into wrestling, I definitely would be doing those high flying moves. I'd try to. It may not work, but we definitely like to do some of that stuff. I love that type of wrestling, like the Mexican AAA, the luchadors and all that stuff. That's my thing. I love that stuff. Yep. You got the poster right behind me, man. And then I've got a picture over here somewhere. There you go. I'm pointing up to it too. You got Young Me up there with both of them. So, yeah. Love the Hardys. We'll always love the Hardys. And no matter how old those guys get, those guys are always reinventing themselves. Yep, Rey Mysterio is another one too. Rey Mysterio is just a great one. And then I have this on here too. I have this like over like a legit head. This is Penta. So I have this just literally on like a styrofoam head or whatever here, and it just goes over it. So this sits on my desk. So yeah, Rey Mysterio is another favorite as well. But yeah, to everybody watching, thank you guys so much for tuning in. So happy to be back. I don't know when the video will be next week, but I definitely do want to do more videos in a week. You know, one video a week is just not enough. I really do want to get back into it because I really did miss a lot of time with being out for 6 or 7 months and not doing the videos and just taking a hiatus and worrying about school and the internship. But we're back now. We're back. We've got a new setup. We've got all this cool stuff. Let me turn this off so you can see it just on. Let me see. I'll turn it off for you just real quick. Oh. There you go. There you go. Now you can definitely see. I really hope you do get the. I didn't get the internship. I got it in early 2026. I got it. So it was a lot of fun. I haven't, it stopped after May. They hired new interns and whatnot. So, we're just looking for new jobs. We're putting more time into the other job. So I had a lot of fun with it. That's the most thing is I learned a lot from it, and I got a lot of skills that I could use with editing and all that cool stuff. Kind of why I'm going to school so I can get my bachelor's. Yeah, I get it. I'm taking a year off, and if things don't work out, we'll apply to other places because my grades were really good the last 2 years. So I feel like we'd have no problem getting into another school if we needed to. But yeah, as of right now, we're just working and applying and putting effort into this channel over here because this channel is a very much a passion project that I really want to continue and whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, so SummerSlam, we're close, and I think AEW, I'm actually going to check on that real quick, that AEW should be having their show pretty soon as well. Let us see. Okay. So July 26th. So that is next week already for AEW's show. So AEW's Redemption show is next week, and AEW in Wembley Stadium in London will be August 30th. So that'll be at the end of the month after SummerSlam. So yeah, we do got some AEW action next weekend. So we'll be talking about on the channel. We'll giving you guys the match card, the rundown. We'll give you guys some predictions and whatnot. So I hope you guys will tune into that video. Hope you guys like my sign. Hope you guys like all the new stuff I've been adding to my setup and whatnot. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please drop a like. Please drop a comment. I will always read your comments. And please end up subscribing to the channel. If you guys are interested in watching my other videos, there should be a playlist of all my podcast episodes. And, the description should say what we talked about in the episode or whatnot. And, yeah, if you guys are interested, please do that. Give them a watch, drop a comment on those because I will go back and look at those comments as well. And, yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be seeing you guys hopefully sooner than later. Thank you guys for tuning in today. And, yeah, the world of wrestling is always changing. So we've always got some stuff to talk to you guys about. And hopefully next time won't be 6 or 7 months. So thank you guys for watching. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.